Hello and welcome to the International Pentagon Challenge. My name is Kyanite and together we'll be embarking on a very special Football Manager journey where we'll aim to try and win every major international competition in all 5 continents, forcing our hand to play with hundreds of different types of players and most importantly hopefully create loads of awesome different types of tactics along the way. Once that's complete, only then are we allowed to set our sights on the biggest of all goals, the FIFA World Cup. How many nations will we have to manage until we work our way to the top? How many dodgy names will we have to pronounce along the way? So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hopefully we're going to have a lot of fun along the way. Don't you just love it when you're grinding the International Pentagon Challenge, you're managing in Africa, you're managing Egypt, you're walking into your press conference for your African Cup of Nations qualifier game, a big game as well in the group stages against Mali, and all the guys in the press can think to ask you is, what do you think about the rumours that the bloody Rwanda manager is going to get sacked? But on another note, hello everyone and welcome to episode 51 of the International Pentagon Challenge. So it's been a while since the last episode in terms of game time, obviously. So the previous episode was our 3-0 win in the World Cup qualifier first leg against Ethiopia, and we were obviously favourites against Ethiopia. So when it was 3-0 in the last episode, it didn't really make sense to show you guys the home leg as well, which we won pretty comfortably, winning 2-0. Obviously, we swapped some players around here and there, tried different things out tactically as well. I then organised some friendlies and then realised that I had to unorganise them because we've got the African Cup of Nations qualifiers coming up. But before we actually focus on the African Cup of Nations qualifiers, let's take a look at our World Cup qualification group. Now bear in mind, we've been here before with Angola and only the team that finishes top of the group ends up qualifying. And unfortunately for us, because we did poorly at the African Cup of Nations, we got sacked midway through trying to qualify for the World Cup with Angola, so we never actually got to finish our group. But I think it was Senegal who we had in our group back then. This is a good 5 or 6 years ago, I think, in terms of, you know, game time. And yeah, we've got probably an even tougher group with Egypt than what we had with Angola. Now, fortunately, Egypt are a very good team. Some may argue we're the favourites to win the group. I would say that we're probably on par with Cameroon. So Congo obviously could pull off an upset. Ironically, it was actually Congo that Egypt beat in real life to qualify for this upcoming real life World Cup. What a game that was. They were 1-0 up. I think they conceded in like the 87th minute. And then Mohamed Salah scored a 93rd minute penalty or something like that. It was unbelievable. But yeah, credit where it's due to Egypt in real life. Hopefully we can replicate something similar in the upcoming stages. So it is going to be a very, very difficult World Cup qualification group. I'm already in the mindset that we just got to take it one game at a time and see where it takes us. I'm not really planning or building for the World Cup. I'm planning and building for the next African Cup of Nations because that's really what we need to win in order to defeat Africa for the sake of the Pentagon Challenge. The only problem is if we don't qualify for the World Cup, I don't know whether or not we'll pay the price with our job, but hopefully we can worry about that after we've at least attempted the African Cup of Nations. So in terms of our African Cup of Nations qualification group, we've got Mali, who are probably our biggest opposition, but it's not that big of a deal because you can qualify in first and second place, so you can afford to slip up. Then we've got Uganda. No Ugandan knuckles jokes in the comments, please. I know most of you probably know the way. I too know the way. But as far as I'm concerned, we're the real deal. We've not got no fake queens at centre-back. We're here to, you know, qualify top of this group. And we've also got Mauritania, who you'll have noticed we've already beat 6-0 in Cairo. It was a beast of a performance. A beast of a performance that you would expect against a nation like Mauritania, but I wasn't really expecting to win by 6 goals. And it was really good to see that everything seems to be gelling together and that we were scoring opportunities that weren't even clear-cut chances, and we even grabbed 2 goals that kind of emanated from corners. They weren't like direct corner goals, bar one of them, which I think Mohamed Kamel scored. Obviously, this is a big lad that plays for Arsenal. As you can see, we've now got some faces. yeah, so 6-0 is a solid result, but really it's Mali who are the team to beat in this group, and that is who we're going to be focusing on this episode. In terms of scouting report on them, it looks like they're going to be looking to play the ever so slightly overpowered narrow 4-3-3. We've got some interesting players up front that, as you may have guessed, we don't really know much about, but they're Mali, so they're probably pretty fast, right? So, yeah. Let's jump straight in and see how we're going to try and counteract potentially how they might be looking to play. So obviously one thing that I have mentioned I use in the past, but I don't really emphasize it too much. This is the Mali manager. I believe he's Harry Kane's long-lost Malian cousin, Mamadou Kane. Or Kane. And yeah, you can sometimes look down here and get a rough idea of if your scouting report ends up being wrong or the opposition manager ends up playing a secondary formation, it will most likely, in our case, be, for example, the 4-3-3 narrow and whatnot. We know TLDR, this guy likes his narrow formations, and you can sometimes, often, you see what their marking style is like, their playing style, their pressing style. If you keep them in the back of your heads, it can affect how you might want to play as well. You know they like to play a passing game. You might opt to play a little bit more aggressive, look to close down a bit more. That way you can intercept their passing game a bit more. You see where I'm coming from? You might want to play the high line to constrict the space they've got on the pitch to play their passing game, force them to go direct and whatnot. So sometimes this is a really useful kind of page you can use from time to time. In terms of the players we've got at our disposal, obviously we're not playing with like our first choice goalkeeper, whose name I can't remember at the moment, and we are missing one or two centre midfielders who are out injured, but we've got players who can replace them, as we saw against Mauritania, so that really is fine. And yeah, let's jump in. Okay, here we go then. So they have opted to go with a narrow 4-3-3. Ramsey will of course pull out wide and we'll look more like a 4-1-4-1. There'll be a lot of space for us to kind of take advantage of down the wings. Got to kind of keep an eye out on how offensive their wing-backs get. We can see that K.L. Mansour is probably slightly more forward than Keita, so there's probably space for El Sayed to exploit out on the right-hand side. One thing that really annoys me about him is that he never seems to be match fit. He does play in Austria for Rapid Vienna, and he doesn't really seem to be much of a starter for him, which is kind of influencing his lack of fitness at the moment. Yeah. As you can see, we now have pictures, faces. I think everyone looks relatively Egyptian. I'm pretty proud of it, actually. Simply because in the past... So obviously, the way I get pictures for my regions is I have a massive pack of faces, randomized faces. And like England is a pretty straightforward one. You can just find any kind of white European-looking guy. And the Japanese one was pretty straightforward because there's a nice selection of specific Asian types of players that can all pass off as Japanese, whilst there's no obviously specific Egyptians, but I think we've done pretty well here. So yeah. Anyways, okay, let's make some tactical changes. Okay, so in terms of them liking to play a passing game and whatnot, like I discussed before, I feel like most of my teams tend to play with pretty vigorous closing down, so I'm not really too fussed about that. And we're a pretty physical side here at Egypt, so it's not really too much to worry about. Ramsey's obviously dropped back down from that Ramadan sub. He rolled just off the striker into a left winger. Now, they've done really well when on attack, but because this is Mali, because we're away from home, I've not only left them toned down, but I've also toned down our fullbacks as well. I know we said that, you know, the wide areas are kind of an area we'd look to exploit, but I want us to really kind of build up into the game because Mali are a very, very good team. I'm not going to bite the bullet and change my mentality, and I'd say in terms of kind of team instructions, all I've done is increase our width for now, because generally speaking, we are kind of set up to take advantage of the wide areas. That's why we scored 6 goals against Mauritania. A lot of them kind of came from using the 2 wide men going forwards. It's just that Mali are a slightly better side, so I don't want to go too attacking early on, and I want to kind of see how we start off playing this way, and if we feel like we've got room to kind of take more risks, then we can do. Here we go then. So, first, well actually not first, we played against Mauritania, didn't we? Second, of our, let's make sure we're on comprehensive, we're not, it's going to be the second of our African Cup of Nation qualification games. Now obviously another thing I've been doing as well is raising our defensive line and playing with an offside trap. When we come up against these teams that play with 3 strikers, I find it's best to drop our defensive line a little bit. That way we can kind of, keep a hold of the 3 strikers a little bit better, and it is going to be useful that we've got that ball winner sat just in front of the back 2 as well, who should hopefully try and protect him. And again, it is always difficult against teams like this because I do feel like the game needs improvement in terms of like scouting reports. I don't understand what it's going to take to get at least some attributes about certain players. Like, it just seems very unrealistic that you're managing a national team, yet you know absolutely nothing about opposite players, unless they're kind of like world class and the whole world knows stuff about them. I find that a little bit unrealistic. Otherwise, what's the point in having scouts? But anyways, we can see that Mali here are trying to play this kind of passing game. They've got that triangle of 3 in the middle of the park. I think we need to look to try and stay a little bit tighter to Cisse and Traore. Otherwise, oh no, they will be able to feed the front 3. And yeah, that happens. So that has definitely not gone according to the script. And it feels like we're only 7 minutes in, so we've not really even, managed to really see much to determine how we're going to change things around. Mohammed, play the ball back out wide to Siam, plays it forward to Ramsey, 16 crossing on him, crosses it in, and it looked like Kiki just about beat Said to the ball in the box. Mohammed to Shauki will find... Nope, finds the fullback. Okay, I thought we should have really passed to the winger right in front of him, and now we've got trouble because they can counter-attack, and we just about get rid of that. So yeah, I think we're gonna have to look to change it around a little bit here. We've gotten the ball wide. We've tried to get the ball in the box, but it seems like Said himself is getting a little bit overrun. So I think we're going to change the wingers to attack, because a lot of the time, like, if he has the ball out wide and you've got a winger on attack, it then means that he'll look to get into the box a little bit, especially as well if you've got an inverted wing back and you put him on attack too. Question now is there anything else we would kind of like to tweak? We're no longer going to look to retain possession, and one thing we really need to do is basically stop kind of those 3 in the middle of the park passing it around. So I'm going to slightly raise our defensive line, turn on the offside trap, and I'm going to go a little bit more narrower for now. Hopefully that'll get our players a little bit closer to theirs, especially in the middle of the park. I feel like, oh god, potentially employing man-marking kind of regime at the moment is a little bit overkill. But yeah, that goal obviously was disappointing to concede, because it was kind of from an impossible angle that it went in. So Traore passes to another Traore, and now we've got a chance to counter-attack ourselves. Ramsey is going to burst down that left wing, links up with Said, and that's not the best of passes, but we go again. Or we pass it back to the goalkeeper. That's another option, boys. The goal's the other way. Nice ball from the keeper. 1-2. Lovely ball towards Said. He's onside, and he equalises. Lovely jubbly, that is. Hussein Said, assist from Mohamed Shouti, and, well, Mali's lead didn't last too long. I don't really think we can attribute any of our in particular changes to it, but it was just a really good ball in the end, and that is what Hussein Said can do to you. You can see, oh, this is it, Said's in. I'm losing my voice for some strange reason. He shoots, and he's just gone wide of the target. I'm losing my voice. I think one option could be change the ball-winning midfielder, who's playing in that kind of defensive midfield position, to more of an anchor man to kind of sweep up a little bit better. That's a penalty, ref. Sweep up a little bit better up against the 3 strikers. I find, honestly, like, the whole 3 striker thing, I mean, those that know me from my kind of tactical videos, So I am kind of like the kind of guy who every other day will go onto FM Base and just kind of take a look at what kind of tactics other people in the community are making. And it just seems like, while last year strikerless was kind of a big deal. Oh, I should have scored there. While strikerless was kind of a big deal, I didn't personally think it was too game-breaking. But while strikerless this year seems completely ineffective, this year it seems like every other kind of tactic that does significant damage to the match engine seems to involve 3 strikers. So it's disappointing that we kind of every year go through these same silly exploits that make you wonder how they didn't get picked up in, in QA. But yeah, it is what it is. Aside though to Ramsey. Can he find the overlapping fullback? He can. Ball whipped into the box. Mohamed with the header, and it's just over the bar. It just feels like most of their attacks kind of stem from Traore and Cisse playing those balls forwards. So we need to find a way to stop that. That's offside. Good finish, though. And we could achieve that by not only kind of meddling around with kind of our centre midfield player instructions to mark tighter and whatnot, but also change at least one of their roles from a Mazzala to maybe a ball-winning midfielder on support. That'll shore us up defensively a little bit more as well. Okay, so as things currently stand, a point isn't exactly the end of the world against Mali, especially away from home, but I will tell the lads I'm not really happy. Siam doesn't really seem to like it, but he can do one as far as I'm concerned. It's Mohamed who's really not shown up too much. He's already kind of being told to mark tighter. In case you're not quite sure who he is, 30-year-old, plays for Az-Zamalek, who are like one of the biggest Egyptian teams. But even though he's technically quite a good player, I feel like we need more of a fighter in the middle of the park right now, which is exactly what Karim Nedved will give us. Another kind of experienced head on the pitch. Now, I'm not going to change into a ball-winning midfielder for that reason. We'll leave him as a Mazzala if we feel like we would genuinely benefit from another ball-winning midfielder. We can do. Abdel Raouf as an IWB should also help us kind of keep those Malian centre mids a little bit quiet too. Also going to go back to playing a little tiny bit wider and just go from there. Because generally speaking, we're not going to be able to completely dominate the match and make Mali look like they're not even on the pitch, because Mali are a very good side. One of the best in Africa, whether we like it or not. But what we can do is try and stay in the game and nick it at the end. Okay. That didn't go according to the script. I mean, that's just a wonder goal, that, isn't it? That's just a wonder goal. There's not much you can do about that. We go again. And most of the highlights so far are us. I am wary of the fact that we're getting the ball in the box quite a lot. I'm also wary of the fact that Mali could go on to make it 3-1 from this position, and that is a super tackle there from our centre-back. Worrying times if you're an Egyptian. Worrying times if you're an Egyptian. Yeah, well, they've had their Weetabix at half-time, haven't they? I can't believe it. Okay. Right. I've just realised I've cocked up monumentally, and I've gone into this thinking we had 14 subs, yet we only have 7, and I've only got defensive subs, and I forgot to put in a striker. So you can argue I deserve to lose this game. Oh, we'll have to beat him at home. Okay, we're gonna go 4-4-2. What we're gonna do now in terms of getting someone on up front? We'll bring on Ramadan Subhi. Plays an advanced playmaker on attack. These two don't like being moved up. He'll go on attack as well. Sweeper keeper on attack. And yeah, it's disappointing. We'll go a little bit more direct. There's not much we really can do. It does feel like we've been the better side. But the one thing we have been able to do is get the ball out wide and get the ball into the box. Okay, Saeed needs to link up with Subhi Ramadan, or ball needs to be given to one of the wide men. And, oh, we should have finished there. Saeed should have scored his header in the first half, and we should have got something on that. Whew. Where do we go from here? In terms of our shape, I am just going to push these guys forwards. It is that simple, and we can bring on some fresh legs. we'll bring him on as more of a ball-winning midfielder on support, and stop looking to play out of defence. I mean, at times like this, there's only so much you can do, you know what I mean? I just tell them to take more risks, get that ball forwards, and let's attack them. But look, we've got more players in their half than we do. We have to capitalise on this. Ball forwards towards, and he's offside. We're executing the game plan, but they're getting caught offside. Forwards. Ramadan picks it up now. It's 3 versus 3. Saeed needs to... Oh, I should have played it back to Ramadan. That's a nice ball towards Ramsey. But, surprise, surprise, we're offside again. Ramsey to Saeed. Needs runners. Had one runner, but instead passed it straight to the Malian fullback. Win it in midfield. Lovely pass. El Sayed will shoot, and will Emil Heskey it towards the corner flag. It's one of them games. It is one of them games. It's a difficult one. Can we cross and score from here? We're trying. Okay, there's one goal back. And that's what I was talking about when I said you put the winger on attack and he then starts making runs into the box. I think now we are genuinely in a position where we can nick this. So we are going to end up playing with no central midfield, but we're going for it. It's that simple. So we are going to clear the ball towards the flanks, and let's just get the ball forwards as much as we can now with 15 minutes to go. Keep closing them down from the front. We've got pacey players that can cause them problems. And, you know, if we keep putting the ball in the danger area, if we keep the ball in their final third, they are going to crack eventually, providing we aren't offside, like we are 90% of our highlights on comprehensive. Still persisting on playing out the back as well. Saeed is through, and it's into the side netting. But yeah, it feels like this is 3 versus 2. He should have just played it across. That was an opportunity if I've ever seen one. But yeah, it felt like the goal that put them 2-1 up was a complete wonder strike, and poor defending from us for the third, and we've given them a penalty, and he's going to get sent off. It's one of them games. Can we get a save here to make up? Oh, it's gone in. It's gone in. It was a tight angle as well, and it felt like the penalty could have been avoided. We've conceded 4 goals to Mali. It's not good enough, really, when you're Egypt. Fatih, out wide to Ramsey. This is nice. Through to Saeed. Consolation, and it's saved by the goalkeeper. It's not our game today. Not our game. Not our game. We've not played badly at all. I really don't feel like we've played badly at all. One of their goals was a wonder goal. The others come from a penalty, and I feel like, yes, Mali have had quite a lot of chances after the red card. A lot of chances that look like they're clear-cut chances, but right up until the red card, it looked like we were the ones about to make it 3-3 rather than the score ending up at 4-2. Nedved. I can't even explain that. At times like this, as the manager, you have to sit back, relax, and contemplate, not suicide, but why exactly we're going to fail Africa again. Finish. Oh, God. Oh, Ramsey again. Come on, boys. We got 4 minutes to do this. We can do this. Believe. Go on. You see, they're 4-3 up on Mali, and their wing-backs are still bombing forward. It's unreal. If we get a good ball and counter-attack the space that their wing-backs leave behind, we could still make this 4-4. It's just 2 teams having a Tony Pulis, Allardyce. Oh! You had 3 people in the box. He's got 16 crossing, that guy. 16 crossing. He should have just passed it across the box. And look at this. Look at this. Said is through. Every time I see their centre-back called Tierra, I keep thinking of Fernando Hierro as well. Oh my god. We're going to make this 4-4. This has got 4-4 written all over it. Even, oh my god, our goalkeeper's come up for it. Our goalkeeper's come up for it. To him! Oh god. And he's, oh my god, that's how bad their players are. They missed the open net. Our goalkeeper. Oh no, we've just given a corner. We've just given him a corner. Oh. I'll tell you what. Tutankhamun wouldn't stand for this. Nor would Queen Nefertiti. Oh, how, come on. Come on, back up the other end. Back up the other end. That's a good goalkeeper. Get it forwards. Whip it in. Oh. We're probably going to have one more attacking chance once they miss this sitter, which they have done in true Football Manager fashion. 30 seconds, boys. Get it forwards. Kamal. To El Sayed. Go on, take him on. That's a good bloody tackle from their fullback. And he's probably just won him the game as Fernando Tierra takes the free kick. The commentator describes it as an absolute classic. I'm really disappointed to have lost. At the end of the day, they've scored 4 goals and only had 2 clear-cut chances. We've had 4 clear-cut chances and scored 3. From the match stats, you can see it was a very even game. I think in the end, the difference was the wonder goal and the penalty, whilst we kept going right until the final whistle. And offensively, we looked okay. We created goals, even when we were down to 10 men. So we are going to have to be honest with the lads, tell them we're not happy. That is going to bring the episode to an end. So, like I said, we've got kind of room to slip up in the African Cup of Nations qualifiers. Us and Mali are, without shadow of a doubt, the favourites to finish top of this group, and we probably will do. But I can only just see this as more of an incentive to beat Mali the next time we play them in November. So we'll leave it at that, and we will make the next Mali game the next episode, simply because I don't really think you guys want to see Uganda and Mauritania, especially when they end up being 6-0 like that. I'm sure you'd rather see 7-goal thrillers like what you've just seen this episode. I mean, I could actually make the next episode. Yeah, we'll make the next episode our Burkina Faso game, which will be a World Cup qualifier, and then the episode after that will be where we look to get revenge against the Mamadou Diarras. But until then, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I can't believe what I've just witnessed, but at least it's entertaining for you lot, while the Egyptian FA contemplate my sacking. Goodbye.